Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. This week we are into episode 5 and we are going to look at sexually transmitted diseases. I'm not a medical professional, so I can't tell you a great deal about the different viruses and the different bacteria and things like that you can get. But what I want to talk to you about today is about what is actually happening in our communities. The reality of what is happening, not is what is meant to happen, because we know what is meant to happen. The Quran is quite clear that we are meant to have sexual intercourse with our wives and our husbands alone. That outside of marriage it is forbidden, that a woman can have one husband, and in Islam a man can have up to 4 wives. Although in the reality, especially in the West, that's not so common. Usually it tends to be a monogamous relationship. But outside of marriage it is forbidden. What we need to be thinking about is about the truth when it comes to people's behaviour. It's very difficult to practice Islam when you live in the West. Without a doubt, it's very difficult. We are surrounded, our young people are surrounded by so many temptations. It is not the norm to be surrounded by women wearing abaya and wearing hijab. It is not the norm. The norm is to dress immodestly, to have your hair uncovered, to drink alcohol, to have sexual relationships outside of marriage. In fact, many relationships now are not defined by marriage, and many children are born outside of wedlock, and it's actually becoming more the norm than marriage itself. So these are the problems that we are surrounded by as Muslims in the UK. But I think we have to face up to the fact that sexually transmitted diseases are something that our young people are suffering from. And it's something that we need to be more open about, and we need to talk about, and we need to ask our young people, what are the pressures that they are struggling with. It's very difficult to deny oneself when all around there are a peer group doing as they please. There are no boundaries. There are no boundaries anymore around one's sexuality. I know school children now are very confused about their gender, and I think this is something that is being promoted in the schools in the UK. And I know from my own experience that children now don't know what's normal, whether it is they're heterosexual, whether they are bisexual, whether they are homosexual, whether they are transgender. The complications go even beyond just having normal sex between men and women outside of marriage. The complications now elicit a whole variety of options. And we are lagging way behind. We as Muslims are lagging way behind the problems that our young people are coming up against. And with it, especially with homosexuality and with the onset of HIV and AIDS, of chlamydia, we are in a pandemic, worldwide pandemic of sexually transmitted diseases. and because of the misuse of antibiotics, some of these viruses, some of these diseases are becoming very difficult to treat, and are kind of mutating into different types of medical problems. Sexually transmitted diseases are making our young people sterile. They are affecting babies in the womb. They are affecting babies through the birth canal. They are having long-term effects on our children. So it's something that it must be talked about. It's something that can't be, well, we're Muslim, we don't do things like this, it's haram. Yeah, forget it. Muslims do it. Muslims are contracting sexually transmitted diseases, and we need to be talking about it. We need to be open about it. We need to be looking at the pressures that our young people are being placed upon them. And we need to be supporting and guiding and trying to demonstrate why the Holy Quran, why the teachings of Allah and our Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, are so important in this time. Why we need to get back to basic respect for ourselves, for our bodies, for our relationships. We need to look at the harm that extramarital affairs are doing to our families, to our marriages, to our wives, to our children. Even we need to look at the misuse of muta. I know muta is a topic that really, although it's halal, especially for Shia, well, it is for Shia Muslims, it's a topic that is not openly discussed. I think it needs to be. I think it needs to be because it's being misused. I think, you know, this is like a can of worms, and the lid needs to be taken off. And I think it's very important that this 10-minute slot is about taking the lid off this can of worms, because, you know, I think the Muslim community is in denial, and it's important that, you know, the truth is aired and is expressed and is discussed, and we are supported as Muslims to follow the right path, yeah, because God will forgive us if we turn to Allah and we ask for forgiveness, if we accept we have walked on the wrong path, we've gone down the wrong way, because all around us there are temptations, but we must change. We as Muslims must show the way forward. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you and goodbye.